Chicago, 1994. The city was caught in a storm of gang warfare. Entire neighborhoods felt like battle zones. Sirens echoed through the streets. Children grew up learning the sound of gunfire before they learned multiplication tables. And in the middle of that chaos, there was an 11-year-old boy. His name was Robert Sandifer. But on the streets, they called him Yummy. He loved candy. He loved sweets. That's how he got the nickname. But in August of 1994, Yummy would become one of the most disturbing symbols of America's gang violence crisis. An 11-year-old child, carrying a weapon, accused of killing, and then days later, found dead himself. This is the tragic story of how a child became both a victim and a perpetrator in a war he was too young to understand. In the early 1990s, parts of Chicago's South Side were overwhelmed by gang conflict. Poverty, drugs, and turf wars shaped daily life. For many children, survival, not dreams, was the priority. Robert Sandifer was born into that world. He was one of many children in a struggling household. Reports later described instability, neglect, and abuse. By the time he was 8 years old, Robert had already been arrested multiple times. 8 years old. While most children were worried about cartoons and school recess, Robert was navigating a street culture that demanded loyalty and toughness. He found belonging in the Black Disciples, one of Chicago's most powerful gangs. Gangs often target young boys like Robert. They offer protection, identity, a sense of family. For a child who feels invisible at home, that can feel like love. By 11, Robert wasn't just hanging around gang members. He was active. And that's when everything spiraled. August 28, 1994. A warm summer afternoon. A group of people gathered near a housing complex. It was an ordinary moment, neighbors outside, families moving about. Then gunfire erupted. When the shot stopped, a 14-year-old girl named Siobhan Dean was struck. She later died from her injuries. Witnesses told police something that stunned the city. They said the shooter was a child, Robert "Yummy" Sandifer. Authorities alleged that Robert had been sent by gang members to target rival gang members. Instead, an innocent teenager lost her life. The image of an 11-year-old accused in a deadly shooting spread quickly across national media. Newspapers ran his photograph. A small boy. Serious expression. Oversized clothing. The headline wasn't just about violence. It was about something more disturbing. How does a child become this? Police launched a massive manhunt. But what happened next revealed the ruthless logic of gang life. After the shooting, Robert went into hiding. For gang leaders, the situation was dangerous. An 11-year-old suspect meant national attention, media pressure, police pressure, and the possibility that a frightened child might talk. In gang culture, silence is survival. Days later, on September 1st, 1994, police discovered Robert's body in a Chicago alley. He had been shot. Investigators quickly concluded that his own gang associates were responsible. Robert Sandifer wasn't just a suspect anymore. He was another casualty. 11 years old. Killed by the same system that had armed him. Two teenagers, both connected to the gang, were later convicted in his murder. Authorities believed they were ordered to eliminate him to prevent him from cooperating with police. In the span of 4 days, a child was accused of killing, then killed himself. The nation struggled to process it. The story of Robert "Yummy" Sandifer exploded across America. Politicians cited it as evidence of moral collapse. Commentators debated juvenile justice. Talk shows asked, should children that young be tried as adults? But beneath the political arguments was something deeper. Robert's life exposed failures at every level. A broken home, a violent neighborhood, a gang structure that recruited children, a justice system struggling to respond. Some saw him as a monster. Others saw him as a lost child shaped by forces beyond his control. The truth is uncomfortable. He was both a perpetrator and a victim. He made choices. But those choices were shaped by an environment that normalized violence before he reached middle school. And what makes the story haunting is this. Robert had been arrested multiple times before the shooting. He had cycled through juvenile detention and returned to the same streets. Nothing changed. No intervention stuck. No system caught him before it was too late. Even decades later, the case raises questions that still matter today. How young is too young to be criminally responsible? Can a child raised in violence fully understand the consequences of gang loyalty? What responsibility does a community bear when children are recruited into organized crime? Chicago in the 1990s was not unique. Other cities were facing similar crises. But Robert Sandifer's story became a symbol because of his age. 11. That number unsettled people. It forced America to look at something it didn't want to see. Children can be drawn into adult wars. And when they are, they rarely survive it. Robert Sandifer's nickname was Yummy, a name tied to childhood innocence, candy, sweetness, simplicity. But his story is anything but sweet. It is a story about systemic failure, about gangs that exploit children, about cycles of poverty and violence, about how easy it is to lose a child long before they physically die. He was not a hero. He was not innocent of harm, but he was 11 years old. And that fact alone forces a difficult conversation. Because when children become soldiers in street wars, the entire system has already failed. Do you believe Robert Sandifer was primarily responsible for his actions, or was he a child shaped by forces beyond his control? Let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comments.